Hey friends, it's time. I have out the tomato seed basket. Because I have so many tomato seeds, I'm going to break this up. Today's video is going to be all about the heirlooms. So if you like to hear the stories behind why we have different kinds of heirlooms and where they came from, this might be the good one for you. It is going to be longer because heirlooms are so cool. And then I'll do another one talking about my cherry types and my paste or canning types. Maybe tomorrow or the day after. This week, someday. Okay, I'm gonna do these by color. So I have got 6 red heirlooms that I have to decide between. And let me tell you a little bit about what I know of them. Let's start with the most interesting one right here. This is Giant Crimson Tomato. This is from M.I. Gardner. He is in Michigan here where I'm at, and he does sell seeds online. You can go to migardner.com and buy seeds for them. But this one is especially cool because he found this seed. This tomato was extinct, and he had gone and bought a picture frame, like a shadow box picture frame, and it had seed packets in it. And one of the packets in this was the Giant Crimson Tomato seed. It's 85-year-old seed. And he saved and germinated all those and got some plants to grow, ended up getting one viable plant with fruit, saved those seeds, and he's been carrying it on. And now he will sell them in his shop. I think there's a limit in how many you can buy as a person, but it says it's an 8 to 10 ounce average indeterminate tomato with an 85-day maturity. I got 5 seeds. I will probably try and grow one of those out just because that story is so cool. Like, an 85-year-old seed made the seed right here that's going to make a tomato that I might eat this year. It's so cool. The next one is called Mason Marvel PhD. And I'm going to be honest, I bought this because it's got the name Mason in it, and it's Mason PhD. And my son Mason, we sometimes jokingly call him the professor. He is a little bit of a thinker. So I bought this one. This was made in the 1950s by Dr. Mason Marvel. And I think it was in, let me check my notes, West Virginia. And what he did is he took this tomato and took a bunch of West Virginia heirlooms, and it was a breeding project. And they grew out the results of that breeding project of heirlooms in West Virginia, actually in a prison yard where they had a lot of blight, known blight. And then he took what he thought was the best one, which was Mason Marvel PhD, and then he cultivated it for another 50 years and developed this. So this Mason Marvel PhD was actually cultivated and started in a prison. Interesting. I grew this one last year, and it makes nice sized fruit. This says, it doesn't say much about this. This is from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, and I'm gonna grow it again. I enjoyed it last year. Next one is Brandywines. I have a red one, I've got a pink one coming up too, and I might even have a yellow, I don't remember. I'm growing this one for my sister. This is her favorite tomato to have. And Brandywines have a somewhat cloudy history. There's different strains of Brandywines, but the most kind of accepted story is that they were developed and given to the Seed Exchangers Exchange in 1982 by a man from Ohio. His name is Ben Quisenberry, maybe? But they were named Brandywines after Brandywine Creek in Pennsylvania, where they're said to have originated. That Ben said he got them from a woman, I believe her name was Doris, that came from this region and said her family had farmed them for 80 years. But take that one with a grain of salt, because there are people that have different stories about Brandywine. But it is named for the Brandywine Creek in Pennsylvania. This one here is Wood's Famous Brimmer. This is a new one I tried last year. I really enjoyed it. It says it produces monster 3 to 4 inch red fruit. And I would agree with that. It was really good for sliced tomato sandwiches last year. It's really, really nice and meaty on the inside. It's not super juicy to make bread soggy. It produced really well. I enjoyed this plant. It was made by a man named Wood's Famous Brimmer in the 1920s, and he is from Virginia as well. Like that one. And then I have got one more. Abe Lincoln. This is a pretty well-known one. It's obviously named after Abe Lincoln, the president, and it's because it was created in his home state of Illinois. Renowned 1923 heirloom, medium large, red meaty flavor, slicer or canner. This is nice and meaty. I found it works really good. Like I said, either to slice and put on a sandwich or to use for fleshy for canning sauces and things like that. So those are my red ones. I think I will be definitely starting all of them. Let's just be honest. I'm gonna start all of those. All right, let's take a look at. I have a couple pink ones. Let's look at the pink ones next. Okay, as promised, I have the pink Brandywine. Same story, just a variety, a different strain of that red Brandywine I did. I have never grown these ones, so those are a big fat maybe. This one's called Pink Boar Tomato. I enjoyed this tomato last year. I didn't think that they got very big. They're kind of like a saladette tomato a little bit more, but they've got this really pretty color on them. They get like that green striping on them, and I just think that's so, so pretty. I really enjoyed this. These are from Wild Boar Farms. They have a website, which is probably wildboarfarms.com. I've bought some of my seeds from there, but there is a guy there that really spends a lot of time crossing and working on tomatoes, and I really enjoy most of the ones that I get from there. So this is one of those, saladette, gonna grow it. This one's also from Wild Boar Farms. It's called Pink Berkeley Tie-Dye. This one's a little bit bigger, a little bit more pink as opposed to the red and stripy, a little more pink stripy. It's really, really good for slicing for sandwiches. This one is a maybe. I can't grow 3 pink tomatoes. That seems like overkill. I might have to decide there. Okay, I've got some stripy ones, kind of fall between colors. I'm gonna go with Mr. Stripy as the first one. Mr. Stripy. This one's really pretty. It is a little bit smaller. It's not a huge heirloom. I really liked the look of it outside, and sometimes I plant things just because I like the look of them. It's a maybe. It's a maybe. This one says they can grow up to 2 pounds a piece, and they're good slicing tomatoes. Mine did not get that big, but I did not grow them last year, so maybe I'm just a better gardener now and I should give them a try. We'll see. Striped German, like that one. This one is a big tomato. This striped German, it's kind of, I wish I had a picture for you. It's more of like an orange and a yellowy kind of stripe than red. They can get very big, they're very meaty. I will definitely be growing striped German this year. This one is new to me. It's a pineapple tomato. I got it from Mary's Heirloom Seeds. And I did try and start seed last year, but I didn't get a good plant. So I never got to look at a pineapple tomato, but they look gorgeous. Bright yellow, orange, reds, pinks. They're very, very colorful. They're bigger. So yes, this guy, I don't know about. I got him because he looks so interesting. It's called Get Stuffed. And pretty much the premise is you use it as a stuffing tomato. The inside is all empty. It says they average 5 to 7 ounces each, similar to a bell pepper in shape. Medium large with a strawberry-like seed cluster in the middle that you can scoop out and stuff and cook. So I might grow a couple of these just as a novelty. I don't know who will eat stuffed tomatoes in my house, but we'll try. All right, let's move on to some oranges and some purples. Okay, apparently I've got a softness for these orangey kind of tomatoes because I have a couple and I really don't need this many. So you're gonna have to help me narrow this down. All right, everyone get ready to vote on orange tomatoes. Let's start with Thornburn's Terracotta. This is one of the first ones I did that was different. It says it's a rare heirloom. It was introduced in 1893 by James Thorburn of New York. I like this one. It grows really well in my garden. It gets to be a good size. It's a good orange slicer. If I had to guess, I'd say I'm gonna grow that one. This is one I tried last year that didn't work for me. It's called Kellogg's Breakfast. It's kind of in that same variety of big orange beefsteak, productive, mild flavor. I didn't do it last year. I should do it this year. Kellogg's Breakfast. Anybody tried it? This is my favorite story. Of every heirloom I have, this is it. This is Aunt Lou's Underground Railroad. And it is also, I don't know if you can kind of tell, it looks a little red in this picture. It gets a little orangey red with, you know, kind of like yellow shoulders. This was supposed to have been carried on the Underground Railroad from a man when he came up to the north for freedom. He came, I think, from Kentucky to Ohio, and he gave it to his Aunt Lou. So that's why it's Aunt Lou's. And she cultivated it and handed it down to her nephew, who in turn gave it to a tomato breeder and got us this. It says it's 4 12-ounce tomatoes. They're pink, dark pink, tangy, and juicy. And that is correct. They're very, very cool. I will grow this one no matter what anybody says because I like this story. This is called Dr. Weitsch's Yellow. This one's very, very yellow. It was developed by Dr. Weitsch. He's got a couple different varieties out there. I'm not sure. It says he was a circus owner and doctor. I did not know that. Circus owner. That's interesting. And it weighs over a pound, and it's got a deep tangerine color. The fruit is very, very pretty. It looks really nice on a tomato sandwich. I like this one. I will probably grow this one again, unless I grow this one, because this one looks very similar. Orange Jazz. This one, if you can kind of see, has striping on it though. It's got like a white and orangey kind of striping. Very, very cool. It's from a tomato breeder. His name is Fred. Let me see, Fred Hempel. And I have grown this one, and it did very well in my backyard too. So as you can see, that is too many heirloom orange tomatoes for one backyard. So let me know what you think. Okay, the same problem I have with orange, I also have with purple. Purple, black. I'm not sure if you've grown these, but look at Black Beauty. Ooh. What these are they are tomatoes that produce anthocyanins, and that makes the purple color, and they get that from the sun. So if you grow this tomato under shade cloth, it's not going to get this dark. It's going to be more red, but it turns this way in the sun. And a lot of those, let me find this one. This Black from Tula one I grew one year, and it's very reddish toward the bottom, and it gets more purpley up on the shoulders because they get more sun. And you could really tell where this one hit the sun when I grew it. This one did okay. I did this one and this Black Seaman. And let me see here. They're more of a smoky, kind of like umami flavor. So this one, Black from Tula, I found a little bit better than this Black Sea Man tomato. This one came from the Ukraine. Black from Tula, I believe, is a Russian heirloom, and I can't grow both. I have to pick one. We'll see. In that same vein, I also got the Black Beauty. It said it's the world's darkest tomato, which I can't resist growing the world's darkest tomato. So might have to grow that one. Cherokee Purple, this is a good old standby. It says it's a pre-1890 Cherokee Indian heirloom. They're lovely. They're just lovely. They're great on sandwiches. And then I have another standby, Paul Robeson. This is a very, very good producer. It did really well in my garden. It has that really pretty deep dark purple shoulders. That one's probably going to be a must. I'm probably going to grow that one. And then I have one more in this cute little bag. It's called Varsovia, and I had to hunt these seeds down. I am a big sucker for growing heirlooms from countries where my ancestors were, and I am pretty Polish, and Varsovia is a Polish heirloom slicer tomato. So I did these last year for the first time. I ended up buying them from a little company whose name I cannot remember. Generation Seeds, I think, had them, and I got 10 seeds. So I'm going to grow those again this year. They produced really well for me. They grew really well in my climate. I like a lot of things that come from Poland because a lot of the climate appears to go well with our climate here in Michigan. So I am definitely growing Varsovia again. I think I definitely said I'm growing like 3 purple tomatoes, which happens. And then I've got one more bonus one, white tomaso. Look at that. Isn't that neat? It says creamy, smooth, half-pound fruit, excellent yields. Now, I grew this last year. I marked in my garden. It made tomatoes. I was so excited, but the tomatoes were red. So I'm pretty sure I had it mismarked, and it was not what I thought it was. So I am going to try this one again. Just a plant or two. I'm not exactly sure what the taste of a yellow white tomato is, but we're gonna find out. Okay, so that's my heirloom seeds for big heirloom slicers. Let me know which one of those you like, or let me know if you've got an heirloom, a story that you like to grow, and maybe I'll go ahead and do that one. And then in the next couple days here, I'm gonna pull out all of my paste or canning tomatoes. Also, there are some heirloom tomatoes that I have in my paste and canning tomatoes, but they're ones that are determinants. All of these here are an indeterminate tomato. And if you don't know what that means, it just means it will grow as long as it can. So as long as the season goes, it will continue to get taller and put on more fruit as long as you have the weather that backs it up and it doesn't succumb to any kind of disease. A determinate tomato, which is what a lot of my canning tomatoes are, those grow to a determined height. So if you have a Glacier or a Granny Cantrell, those are both determinate tomatoes. Those tomatoes will grow 5 foot high if that's what they're supposed to grow. They will set off so many tomato fruits, and that's it. It doesn't matter how long you leave them in the ground, they're not going to do anymore. So when you hear about people pruning tomatoes, they're pruning these big, tall, indeterminate ones to send out more side shoots. You cannot prune the top off of a determinate tomato. I mean, you can, but if you do, you're going to go ahead and reduce the amount of harvest that you're going to get off of it. So I keep my determinate tomatoes with my meteor, ox hearts, and canning tomatoes because I usually will, they'll come on at one time and I'll pick a giant flush of them and use them for canning mostly. Whereas all these heirloom slicers I will use for fresh eating or fresh salsa or things through the season, or I'll freeze them to add to my canning stock when it's ready. So those ones I will get to later on, and then I will also get to cherry tomatoes, which I have way too many cherry tomatoes. We're gonna have to make some very hard decisions there. Somebody's got to go. All right, guys, have a great day.